What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is AkeemHaynes. I'm a two-time Olympic bronze medalist, author, motivational speaker, and sports commentator. On my channel, we talk boxing, MMA, track and field, and of course, motivation and encouraging content. If this is something that you enjoy, then I hope that you subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get into the video. Xander Zayas versus Alexis Salazar. What do we think about this fight? This is happening on the undercard of the Teofimo Lopez and Sandor Martin fight card. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Xander Zayas. I think every fight Xander has been in has been a step up for him in his progression as a fighter. And this is going to be another step up for him. However, I do believe his last opponent, Espadas, was a little bit tougher than I think Alexis Salazar will be. But nonetheless, this is going to be a very good fight because it's going to require a different Xander Zayas in order to figure out Alexis Salazar. Now, Xander is one of the sport's young top prospects. He's 20 years old, but he looks like a veteran inside the ring. He's got 10 knockouts in 14 fights, so you know he's got some pop in his shots, but it's how he breaks you down, right? He calmly stalks you, lining you up in his head before throwing a punch. He doesn't waste a lot of punches. He's efficient and accurate and likes to make sure that when he does let his hands go, that it's going to hit, that it's going to connect, and the punch is going to count. Let's go back to his last fight against Elias Espadas, where he got the win by stoppage. Now, Espadas, that was the first stoppage loss that he's had in his career to date. So that was a big statement for Xander Zayas. I did a recap of that fight, though, and a lot of people were saying, man, Xander Zayas looks sloppy. Defensively, he didn't look right. If he's just going to go in and just trying to brawl like this against the top guys, he's not going to last. He's going to get dropped. But as I said in that video, he was not trying to outbox the guy, right? He was trying to make a statement, and he was trying to get the stoppage because his game plan in that fight wasn't the same as it usually is in previous fights. Usually he's more patient, more defensively responsible, right? Setting up his shots a little bit more. But in that fight, he wanted to fight, right? So he was going to stand there and trade shots with Espadas, right? He stood there, traded shots, and wasn't afraid of being hit himself. So in that fight, it was a different mentality. He was standing there, right, to show toughness, to show that I can bang with the best of them if that's where the fight needs to be. So will he be able to get away with that style all the time? No, of course not. But it does go to show his toughness, and he trusts himself to get the job done wherever the fight is going to go. If it's a brawl, he can do that. If it's a fight where he has to use and take his time to break down his opponents, okay, cool. He can do that as well. If he is in a position where he's fighting someone where he has to outthink his opponent, okay, cool. He can do that as well. He's still developing as a fighter, but I think where he is right now in his development, I think is ahead of his time. Let's talk about his opponent, Alexis Salazar. 24 wins, 4 losses, 9 wins by way of knockout. He's only been stopped once. And that came when he fought the heavy-handed, hard-hitting Carlos Adames. He's not a guy that has a lot of power in his shots, but he does have a little pop, right? He's going to use his jab to try to slow down his opponent's pace. If they're too aggressive, he's going to move around the ring and not stay stagnant. He's going to use his reach to try and loop some of his shots and hooks in. In his fight against Carlos Adames, his jab was his best friend, right? To keep a fast starter away from him, you got to use your jab. So he did a good job of using the jab and evading Adames for a few rounds. Using his jab to put together combinations. He has a nice 1-2 combination, a nice jab, right hand. He has a nice combination when he can land his shots. He's a guy that is going to try to slow down the pace of this fight and try to win on the outside. He's not a brawler. He's not a guy that likes to fight in close range. That's not his style. That's not his skill set. That's not how he's going to win his fights. He's not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy, but I think he's a guy that can frustrate you the longer the fight goes on if you let him stay in it. He's going to take what's given to him, and he's comfortable with staying comfortable within himself and his strong suits. So who wins? I don't think Salazar can stay on the outside forever if he wants to win this fight. At some point, he's going to have to engage. going to have to trade some shots because he doesn't throw enough between the rounds for the judges to say, oh man, it was a great round for him. He's going to have to make his shots count. He's going to have to take some risk and let his hands go a little bit. So I have Xander Zayas winning this fight. This is an 8-round fight, and I don't think Xander has the type of punching power that Carlos Adames does, but I do think he can get the stoppage. But if he doesn't cut off the ring and just follows Salazar around the ring, he'll make it the whole fight. But I'm going to go Xander Zayas by stoppage because I do think he can get the job done in a different way. What are your thoughts on this fight? Who do you have winning this one? Let me know in the comment section below. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a couple ways you can do so. You can like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to support by way of donation, you can find options in the description below. Also, my Cash App handle will be on screen as well. Any amount goes towards the growth of this channel and will be greatly, greatly appreciated. So with all that being said, if you've been watching the video this time, do me a favor and subscribe to the channel, and we'll definitely see you next time.